With the release of Black Adam, I thought I would go back and rank all the DCEU, all 12 movies, and Peacemaker from worst to best. Let's go. Real quick before we get into this, I just want to say this is my personal list. This is just my opinion. Feel free to share yours down below. Rank all 13 projects in the DCEU from worst to best, or maybe just give me your top 3 and your least favorite. Now, before we get into this, please do hit the subscribe button down below. It does my channel a lot of good. This list is going to be controversial in parts. There's some that I have lower than some would expect, and some that I have higher than others might have on their list. It's just my opinion. Let's get into it. In 13th place, though, is Justice League or Justice League. This movie's just a hot mess. This is like on the bottom of everybody's list, and that's for a good reason. First of all, the movie's not very good in and of itself. The studio wanted it to be under 2 hours, so it's like 1 hour and 59 minutes with 59 seconds. It's something weird like that, and this movie just doesn't work. It's very cheaply thrown together. It's not well edited. The reshoots, you can kind of tell where they are. Henry Cavill's mustache, and it's just not a good movie. And then the behind the scenes stuff really make this movie not one that I like to rewatch. In 12th place, I have Batman v Superman. This is the theatrical edition. The Ultimate Edition I have not seen. I am going to try to get around to watching that sometime soon. But for the time being, it's the theatrical edition, and that's the movie I've seen, and that's the movie I don't like. I really don't like Batman v Superman. To me, there's just something about it that feels like they just threw so much at this movie. They wanted to set up the Justice League. They wanted to do all this other stuff, and it's too dark for a Batman v Superman movie. It just feels not tonally right, and I don't really like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and I think this movie just fumbles a lot of stuff. To me, it just doesn't work as a DC movie. Again, I haven't seen the Ultimate Edition, and this is probably one of my most controversial placings, but there you go. In 11th place is Suicide Squad, a movie that I only have above Batman v Superman because I have fun with this movie. Now, with Batman v Superman, I don't have a lot of fun with it. This movie, while it does have problems, I just have fun with. That's why it is where it is on the list. There are problems with it. I really want to see the Ayer cut, so for the time being, though, Suicide Squad is just a fun time. In 10th place is Wonder Woman 1984. This is one of the more recent DCEU movies and also one of the worst. This movie doesn't handle its villains well. You have Pedro Pascal, Kristen Wiig. You got great actors and actresses playing the villains, playing the parts in here, and it just doesn't work. There's something about this movie that just doesn't click. Something about it just is off, and it's weird. This movie should have been really good. There's not a lot of action in the first half of the movie, which is a big problem when it's an action superhero movie. The villain's motives were weird, and I don't really care to ever rewatch this movie. In 9th place is AQUAMAN, another movie that I just have a fun time with, like Suicide Squad, except for this is a better made movie. It's kind of a globe-trotting adventure. I like the villain. That's really all I have to say about AQUAMAN. In 8th place is Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a very good Superman movie. I recently rewatched it, and I liked it a lot more the second time I've seen it than the first time. Now, this movie is really good, and I really do like how they handle his origin story and kind of put a spin on it. It's not the normal Superman, but I enjoy Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder's take on the character. Therefore, I quite enjoyed Man of Steel. In 7th place is Black Adam. Black Adam is a really fun time, a lot of action. Now, there are some really problems that you can see. Some of the acting's not great, and this plot is kind of weak, but I really enjoy The Rock in this movie and the Justice Society. They are both really great. Hawkman, Dr. Fate, every like superhero in this movie is really fun. This movie is just a fun time. It's not a movie like Joker or The Batman. It's just a fun time. In sixth place for me is Birds of Prey, one of the most unique movies in the DCEU, and honestly, every time I think of the DCEU, this is the last movie I think of, and while that is the case, I still really enjoy this movie. I really want to rewatch it soon. It's crazy. This movie's just crazy all around. There's just some wild scenes, and it's fun. It's an enjoyable time, and I keep saying that about a lot of these DC movies, but a lot of them, that's all I can say. But I do enjoy Harley Quinn's character in this movie, and I do enjoy all the Birds of Prey. Hopefully we get some, we're getting a Black Canary movie, I think, so hopefully that comes out soon. I really like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, so this movie really works for me. In fifth place for me is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now this might be a little low for some people, but to me, it's 4 hours. It's more of a mini series than it is an actual movie, but I really did enjoy this movie. It is honestly it's the best Justice League movie we've gotten so far. Not a lot to compare to just the 2017 version. This movie is way better than that movie. It handles the characters better. I just like a lot of the character development in this movie. It just works really well. The action scenes are phenomenal, and I like seeing the Joker and all these other characters coming into this movie. And it's kind of like the Avengers Endgame of the DCEU a little bit, but I really do enjoy this movie. In fourth place, I have Wonder Woman, a really great movie and a great character study on the character of Wonder Woman. This movie really works. I like seeing the mascara and all their kind of history. That was really cool to see. Also, Wonder Woman just makes for a great character, and I love the setting of this movie. I think it really works for the character a lot better than 1984. And I really enjoyed this. Steve Trevor, Chris Pine is great. And of course, Gal Gadot is really good in the role of Wonder Woman, especially in this movie. In third place for me is Shazam. Now, this movie's really risen up on this list. It used to be lower, but on rewatch this year, this movie's really funny. And the heartfelt family moments with the Foster family really work. And I was really excited to see Shazam 2 this year, but we're going to have to wait a couple more months for that movie. This movie really handles the character of Billy Batson and the family really well. And I really love seeing kind of the kid in an adult's body with superpowers. I think that worked really well. I think Zachary Levi really plays the character very well. And I think it's just one of the funniest movies in the DCEU, but it's also one of the most heartfelt. It's also a Christmas movie. Sort of. In second place for me, though, is Peacemaker, a huge surprise. I actually came into this show late. When episode 5 was airing, I kind of caught up. I love Peacemaker. This show has no right to be this great. The show is just phenomenal. James Gunn handles it so well. He gives you this batch of characters that they're all flawed, but you still really love to see them on screen, and you love to see their reactions to each other and interactions, and it's just a really fun show. The camaraderie of the group, John Cena does a really good job. It's just an overall very well written show, and I can't wait for season 2. But in first place for me is the Suicide Squad. That's right, both the James Gunn DC projects are on the top of the list. I love the Suicide Squad. I've seen it about 5 times. To me, it's the funniest movie by far in the DCEU. I just love the group. I love the squad. I think they really have a great camaraderie. And I just really love this movie. I like the whole, not globe-trotting, but I like all the adventures the squad goes on. And to me, I just think that the Suicide Squad is the best DCEU movie and one of the best DC movies, period, and actually one of the best just comic book movies. To me, it's a very well-made movie. The characters are great, the acting's great, the humor's great. I just love the Suicide Squad. There you have it. There's my list of all 13 DCEU projects ranked from worst to best. Tell me your list down below. As always, you can watch more videos right now. Please hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you.